Community show with me, Hashim Duale. You can listen to us live, FM 87.7. We're also DAB 9B. Also, you can listen to us worldwide, www.ramadan.fm. And this is a very packed and very good show, I think. As you can see, those who can see us from the social media on the screen, I have two very distinguished guests today. On my right, Varsha Lad. Varsha, can you, first of all, welcome all our listeners to FM, Ramadan FM, and tell who you are.
Okay, I'm going to first of all say Mubarak Ramadan. My name is Varsha. I work for the UHL, University Hospital of Leicester, on the project called Hepatitis C.
Thank you very much. And also we have in the studio Abdikaif Farah, who is the Chief Executive of Socopa. Abdikaif, if you can introduce yourself to our listeners and also tell us Socopa, what it stands for.
Thanks, Hashim Duale. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to say Ramadan Mubarak to all Ramadan radio listeners, first of all, and wish them, well and to perform Ramadan the best way they can. As you said, my name is Abdikaif Bashir Farah. I'm the Chief Executive of Somali Community Parents Association. So Socopa is an acronym of, SO is Somali, CO stands for community, P for parents, A association.
Thank you very much. First, I would like you to listen with me, because today we're talking about the silent killer. The silent killer, hepatitis C, many of our community don't know much about, and the reason we invited Varsha today is for us to listen about this silent killer. First and foremost, just explain what it is hepatitis C to our listeners.
Okay, so hepatitis C is linked to the liver. If you've got inflammation in the liver and it goes undetected, it can become potentially cancer. Lead to cancer. So my job in the community is to go out, spread awareness, and what I'm up against is people have this cultural stigma or misinformation and barriers up, thinking there's nothing wrong with me, I don't have hepatitis C. On the outside, when you look at somebody, you would not know they've got hepatitis C unless they're tested for it. Okay? To break down the barriers, what we're trying to do is get the right people in to communicate in their language and pass this vital information on, which is a Saving Lives project on this bloodborne virus. Now, this bloodborne virus, what we mean by that is it's blood that's infected blood transmitted to another person by blood-to-blood contact. Now, a simple example of this would be if someone uses a toothbrush and they've got bleeding gums and another person shares that same toothbrush, they could potentially be infected by this blood that could be infected by the first person passing on to the second person. Does this make sense?
It does.
Just giving a basic example of the transmission routes. Blood-to-blood contact means just examples of not to share toothbrushes, shavers. If you have operations abroad, please make sure you check all the hygiene standards, because that's another way of contamination due to maybe the surgical equipment being reused and not sterilised. So we could look at saving money but you could come back with health issues. Another culture where they go, I don't know if it happens now, but in the old days where they used to do tattooing at home or ear piercing, that's not really recommended, especially if the equipment's not sterilised.
You touched upon this is blood-borne virus.
Yes.
And traces of infected blood, if another person gets into the system, they can be infected. Can you explain how can, because we touched upon the silent killer. Because the person doesn't know they have it, why this name and how I can diagnostic myself whether I have it or not.
Okay, so do you remember on the BBC not so long ago they talked about the blood transfusion? Okay,
Yes.
Blood transfusion that came from America, it was unscreened, and later on people found out that they had HIV, hepatitis B and C. So that's one of the most common conversations people have about the blood-borne virus. Now, if you don't mind me talking about substance misuse.
Please.
So
one of the things is that the community listeners, everybody has to understand how this is transmitted. So whether it's drug use, sharing syringes and all that. Please, let's talk about it all.
Yeah. Okay, so with drug use, what I've learned over the years, months, if people are injecting drugs and they're sharing the same equipment, the most common one is when you get the spoon with the water in and you all use your same needles, several people using that needle in that water, it becomes contaminated to the point where the needle may have a speck of blood on there that could be infected, that's gone into the spoon and the water, and that can contaminate the water. And if other people are using the same water that don't have hepatitis C, could potentially end up with hepatitis C. It's always remember, if you sharing equipment that's drug related, sharing toothbrushes, nail clippers, when you go to the barbers, if they've not used the sterilised equipment, when you have your hair shaved, all these processes are leading of a risk of a blood-borne virus, which is hepatitis C, inflammation to the liver, and it can go undetected for over 20 years. Then it could be too late because the obvious signs start showing, like typical example of yellowing in the eyes, the skin, and that could be too late. The whole purpose of me being on this project is to break down the barriers, mix in with a friendly community, educate, bring the awareness. Under the harm reduction is about be safe in everything you do. Think about who you're sharing, why you're sharing, are you putting yourself at risk? The symptoms in the early days could be simple as none, or headaches, or foghead, or loss of appetite, low in mood, but you would never pinpoint that to hepatitis C.
Okay. There are other conditions and diseases that have similar symptoms.
Yeah. Now, my job is to go out, especially in the diverse community, and not just only spread awareness by breaking down the barrier and saying, you can't say that stigma doesn't relate to me, because I've had experiences where people say, oh, it's for substance misusers only. It's not the case. This hepatitis C can be in any of us. You don't know you're carrying this unless you get tested. So I go out to the community We either do a dry blood spot test or oral swab, and within minutes we get a result. And the beauty of our service is the whole team is so friendly, they're so approachable. We deal with all types of people, whether rough sleepers, not just substance misusers. They could be illegal immigrants that have hepatitis C and come to this country, scared to go to the health service for help. We're there for them as well. So we cover a range of groups. And the beauty of our service is if someone is tested positive, we have an 8 to 12 weeks medication that cures them.
Perfect. One of the things, because you said that if even you get the virus, you never know it might act after 30 years in your body. And now I'm getting why they call it a silent killer. Because you will notice until you show the symptoms,
yes,
like yellowing the eyes and the skin and all that.
But that stage, it may be too late.
Too late, thank you.
The medication wouldn't then properly work.
Thank you. So the good thing is that early detection then
yes,
can cure, and
yes,
with that medication, it can save literally the person.
Exactly.
Thank you. One other things, and I'll come back to this because I always have to, in the middle of my program, explain where we are, those who just join us. This is Ramadan Radio FM 87.7. We're live here at the studio on Evington Road. You can get in touch with us by text 077 488 55055. Only text or WhatsApp. And if you have any suggestions or questions, you can put it there. We are also live on www.ramadan.fm, and also we are on DAB and 9B. One of the things that you said, and I quote, is that you can come out to the community, you and your team.
Yes.
And you can test the community.
Yes.
The reason I ask this question, there are a lot of community groups who are listening now, and one of them is here to us as well, and he will react to that later on when we go to him. So it is something that when you and your team come out, you can test the participants, and here and then you can determine whether the person is carrying the virus. And it's treatable with 12
within a 8 to 12 week course.
8 to 12 course. So that's brilliant. And also go on. There are you talk. My question. Is it STD? Is it a sexually transmittable disease as well, or not?
Right. Okay. When we talk about
because we in this program we talk about it. Don't worry.
In some communities, it's quite a taboo. We have to be sensitive towards. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Now they say rough sex, skin to skin contact. The tear of the skin. Can potentially expose them to hepatitis C. We always got to remember it's a blood-borne virus, blood-to-blood contact. Now, what I do also want to mention, we do also get a lot of people where they don't want the test here and now. They can take away the leaflet I normally present to them, which has a QR code, and the luxury of this kit coming to their house. Once they complete all the personal details, the kit will come to their house. It will have a set of instructions to follow. Basically, it's asking for a sample of blood, sealed up, boxed up. It's all for free. You post it away, and within a week, you get a text message to say whether the results are positive or negative. And again, the treatment is there. So some people like to do it in the...
let me ask if our producers can put up the leaflet I send them. Can the leaflet be put up so that people can see it? Continuing, so we talk about rough sex, skin to skin, and if there is a tear and the blood can be infected as well. So, okay. So, this is blood-borne virus, and all the things that you also many people now go abroad to fix their teeth and all that. Dentists, for example,
Yes.
if I'm abroad and I have a cheap way of fixing my, should I think all those things?
Well, so let's bring the operations can be anything from dental to surgery. Saving money is a great thing, but if it costs health implications when you come back is another, for example, like hepatitis C, because some surgical equipment may not be sterilized. So you need to do the research, need to do some maybe checks, talk to people. I would like to say we would not recommend having, operations abroad for the risk of their health compromise for saving money and being its silent killer. The other one I've heard on the grapevine is popular, is when people get together and they have Botox, and they're maybe sharing the same needle.
The same needles, yes, okay.
Yeah, so that's again a no-no, because it's sharing. It's the blood contact with the needle. So we have to be very careful. And in the tattoo, when people go to have tattoo or piercing, please make sure again you ask all the health and safety questions. Make sure they do the disposal of needles, or whether it's sterilized. Everything's done in the correct manner, and they've got the license for it.
Thank you. Let's just make sure that the people who just join us, what we're talking about. Today we're talking about hepatitis C, it's the silent killer, and my colleague here, Varsha, just nicely explaining to us. So in this case, sharing is not caring. Toothbrush sharing, needle sharing, all that, we have to be very careful. It's, even if you are intimate with a person, you need to be very mindful of that, because you never know. And as I understood now, why they call it killer, silent killer, is that it is in your body, and until it manifests, you might not know. And even if it manifests, it might have similar symptoms to most of the diseases. What you are adding more for the community, for example, today there are a lot of community groups who are listening because I advertise this program through the community groups, and I'm sure that they're checking us now. If someone comes to you, like Abdikaif, and say, look, I like what you say today, how they can get in touch with you?
Okay, so I can leave my contact details with you. That's one way. The main way is for me to leave you my contact details.
Please.
That's the way. I'm actually quite active in the community. People are getting to know who I am, what my role is.
Yeah, I know,
So,
because you and I met in Shama Women's Center.
I've been to Wesley Hall as well.
Wesley Hall, which we say hello to them, because they are very regular people on our show, especially when it comes to community events and the Shama Women's Center and many other community groups. I'll shout out all of them later. So getting in touch with you and making sure that when they host you and your team, how it works. You go first to give a talk, or you come with your team and you give the talk, and then, because nowadays, the reason I ask this question is, nowadays people are busy. They want to get on with, for example, if Abdikaif advertises, says, look, hepatitis C group is coming to us, one of the caveat that because I've been community worker 25 years, is to give something community. If you are testing that day, and we say, look, not only you will know about hepatitis C, but you will have the kit there, and they can test you. So that's one of the caveat that I say the community can be attracted to come in numbers.
Yeah, so I tend to go to coffee mornings. I work around communities to fit with their timing. I find some people run clubs or they run classes. Maybe I could coincide with them. This Sunday I'm planning to go to the East Park Road Gurudwara. I did try to negotiate working during the week, but it doesn't quite work well.
With the community
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah,
yes.
sometimes
we
you have to
won't
be
do Saturdays and
flexible.
Sundays, yes.
We don't normally recommend to do weekends, but if there's no other choice,
Okay.
then I'm willing to be flexible.
Thank
Yeah.
you. One of the things that, and I will give you a couple of community groups and talks that happens regularly in St. Matthew after this. Stay with
you.
us. We will
Thank
come
you.
back to you with questions. Now I would like to introduce my next guest, Abdikaif Farah. Abdikaif, first and foremost, welcome. He's my colleague over 20 years, and we work together in the community. But today, I interview him. I have this privilege to, as you introduce yourself, you are the chief executive of Sokopa. What Sokopa does and where it's located.
Yeah, thanks Hashim, and salam alaikum to Ramadan radio listeners, and I hope you will benefit this holy month. Hashim, Sokopa actually does a lot of work for the community. You know, Sokopa is set up from the community and for the community. So we do community services at 19 Brunswick Street, Samatios, you know, now Masjid Quba, ground floor. What we do is actually educating people, enabling people to access mainstream services, advocating people in adverse time when people, you know, get some issues which they cannot sort out. And the people we support are people from Somali community and East African communities. And actually wider communities benefit and come our center, and we give education, ESOL classes regularly, because when we say enable, a lot of people actually have not get opportunities to do things by their own self due to a lot of things. For example, they could be new migrants or asylum seekers new to the country. They could be due to health conditions. It could also be due to
Cultural as
lack
well.
of cultural and
Yes.
lack of skills.
Mhm.
So these are the things that Sokopa try to facilitate and fill that gap. And we have a drop-in center where we have a trained bilingual support where people can come Monday to Thursday between 10 and 2:30, so they can bring the issues, and then we listen and try to resolve. And this area we work on is a lot of on immigration, welfare, housing, death advice, counseling actually. So we talk to the people who are in crisis, and we try to put them through the right services, which can then
Signposting.
support them or referral.
Thank you. I visited your office because what people might not understand what we're talking about. If you get a letter and you've been expecting some news, whether it is health or housing or anything, and you're not literate to understand what's in that letter, until you come to their office and you meet one of their advisors there who are very confidential and bilingual, that person is in limbo. They don't know what they're carrying, what it is, bad news, good news, and all that. And that anxiety, they are the people who are there to help and make sure that this person understand what it is they've been sent. And even if it is bad news, they're not leaving them and just reading for the paper, but also making sure that they advocate and talk to the, because sometimes it's two ways, the information, and that's what they do. I also saw, tell me, there are many people nowadays who are, when I'm in your offices, asking SIM cards. What are all this about?
Actually, we are one of the online centers in St. Matthews, and we in partnership with Good Thing Foundation, a charity that actually, and we have put proposal, and we become one of. So we distribute people SIM cards, free SIM cards with data. It is two type of SIM cards. One is 1 year free data, 25G data, unlimited calls, unlimited text. And the other one is 6 months, 40 GB data. And a lot of people actually come for that, and we just give, and because we know the cost of living has gone up.
Yes, indeed.
And this is a way to support the people so that they can get those SIM cards and save that money to buy
food,
other essential life essential items which families may need. So that is really, and we have been distributing this the last 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And also when I come on Fridays, I see a lot of mixed people from around the world in classes, in your ESOL classes. Expand that more for listeners.
We are from the community, and we serve for the community. So we really want our community to have control over their life. And the only way they can have control over their life is to learn English language. So we have very generous volunteers, teachers, who does that for us. And that is actually what we encourage, and we do it at least 3 times a week, where people can come. Informally, they can stay 15 minutes, 10 minutes, flexible, as it suits, because people have a lot of other...
such as childcare and
a lot of other
and work three jobs as well.
Yeah, not only that, but these jobs which are not, secure jobs, like people waiting job to go job. Someone might go job as is in the class, because
they will call them, or text them and say, look, can you come immediately?
So colleges, they cannot attend a formal education. So this is a alternative for people. A lot of people actually benefited and go back to college, learn the English language. Their confidence is built it, because we don't want people to have other people translate
all the time,
private issues of life. So, and learning English will enable you actually to get what you want from this country, whether it is education, whether it is a job, whether it is a social, you want it to be able to talk to people. So these are the things we promote, and it's going well, and that is what it is. Those English and the range of nationalities is actually attracted the service we do due to that SIM card, and from
the ESOL as well, yes.
From Afghan, Turkey, Iran, East Africa, Sudan, Eritrea, you name it. It is a range of
East Europeans.
East Europeans.
Because the reason I know, I was one of the, because you sometimes they invite people to talk to the class about anything. And as a community worker, one of teachers invite me and give a talk, and they were so engaging when you have international students in front of you with their questions and all that, and it was good. And one thing that I admired about they never turn away people. If you come onto that time from Monday to Thursday, there are, what I am fascinated by that is that if you want to talk to a lady, there's a lady advisor. If you want to talk to a man, there's a man advisor available, and that cultural That's what I'm getting. That
Yeah.
cultural thing is there
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, because the way we design is actually we are from the community and we serve for the community. We understand the need, and community have, you know, a certain degree of trust on what we do, because they know we have been operating from there since 2006. Same place, and people have been, you know, coming and they see we are reliable. We can solve and share with the issues. We work professionally, so we are very conscious about people's dignity and respect. So the client is client center approach we use, and we try people to move forward. And it's not only that, Robin. We have a youth program which we run on Saturdays. We run supplementary classes, and we try to build a bank of volunteers, empower people to deliver those services. And this is how we have been, doing things.
The other thing,
Yeah.
the other thing I saw is also a group of elderly that always come to you because of your situation and the language and everything that you give advice on the community. In this climate of financial hardship, I understand many of you, the staff are they're volunteering their time. Some retired teachers, some retired civil servants are with them, youth, everyone. How you go on? That's one of
We actually started with many years. We worked it as volunteers, non-paid staff, doing things. But fortunately, in the last 3-4 years, we have been able to get grants
here and there.
Yeah, to sustain the service.
At least overhead and the costs.
Some basic salaries for some of our staff, a permanent staff who does the work and the overhead. So that's how we been surviving and delivering the services. Yeah, and we actually open for community to actually come forward and make the contribution, because it's very vital support for the community. And we encourage community also to make contributions, whether it is in kind or they
volunteering
material.
time. Yes,
So a lot of people does that. Actually, if we had not these professional volunteers, which we really grateful, a lot of things will not be happening the way it's happening. So it is the generosity and the kindness of the people who recognize how important it is what we are doing, and put the bit. So it's an obligation. It's a social obligation. That's what we feel, and it is each one's responsibility whether they join what we are doing. We are open people to invite and join on what we are doing, and be part of it, because it is a societal issues here, and life is getting tough and tougher. So if people don't come together and take control over their life, it's very difficult. For example, with welfare issues, a lot of people have no jobs, so they have to apply with different welfare, and it's very complex to understand, because it is constantly changing the last 12 years, 15 years. It has been big transformation. So people get lost in it. So imagine people who don't know the language, cannot read, and a lot of services move to on digital.
On digital, yes.
Yeah.
That is, let alone not knowing the language, not being new to the country, having maybe some health conditions. How you gonna catch up? The benefit office, they don't know you, because they send you letters. And if you don't respond those letters in certain time, then they make their decision. And that decision affects adversely, that individual or family. It may be cost for them losing their house or deteriorating their health and well-being further. So it's not easy. So these are the things We try people, as soon as they come, we read the official letters for them. We try to arrange them in a way, the way they wanted to present it.
To follow up.
So the other end of the agencies, government agencies, or whoever they are trying to communicate, understands the situation, and that is where we stand and useful as well.
Thank you very much. We are at Radio Ramadan FM, and it's live. This is the community show with me, Hashim Duale. Today I have a very good guests here. I'll come back to you again, Basha. We have 5 minutes each to spare. Okay. If you can recap, we've been talking about hepatitis C, the silent killer. How you wrap up your... because we talked about how it is transmitted. It is a virus that blood-borne and all the different transmission and the prevention as well. So if you can encapsulate all that in next 3 minutes, and then it will be Abdikaf's time as well.
Okay, I'll try my very best. So basically, I want to say this Hepatitis C Trust and the project, which is supported by the NHS England and the WHO, which is the World Health Organization. They've been fantastic in the support, where we go out there into the community, we look at what the stigma is, the barriers are, and I go out there to take down these barriers, engage with a friendly community, spread the message, the awareness. The harm reduction is to be safe. There is that slogan, sharing is caring, but in this case, not to care about sharing something, because you've got to be mindful of the blood-to-blood contact. I'm easy to get hold of once I'm made connection in the community, because I leave them my contact details. I'm ready, available if someone's at high risk, and I can come rather than them coming to the hospital, at the Royal Hospital in town. I'll come out to them, test them, and if they need medication dropping off, I can even do that as well. So we're a very flexible service, we're very hands-on and proactive.
And you said if the community groups invite you, you can go out to them, and you and your team, first you can go alone and give the talk, and the second time it might be if need be, and you can combine both. And especially if the communities can make sure that from Monday to Friday they can fit, any plans will be fine. But sometimes if need be, you can come out as a weekend. But you recommend come. One thing that you talk about is that hygiene is important.
Yes.
Whether it is salon where you're having your hair cut, and whether it is a piercing, whether it is a Botox and all that, operations abroad or even in this country.
Yes.
So hygiene, to make sure that the blood transfusion from infected person to the next won't happen. So elaborate more about the purpose. For example, you talk about if they are not careful about the...
Okay, if they're not careful about their hygiene and they're not being made aware, and if they become infected, the person would not know they're being infected because there's no obvious signs. Symptoms are very common symptoms, which you wouldn't point it down to hepatitis C. So there's no vaccination to protect you from hepatitis C. So this is why I engage in the community to spread the awareness, and by testing is another way of checking if someone's positive.
You talk about testing, the kit, for example. You can know on that day, if
within minutes. Within
so
minutes.
what it consisted the kit for the
Okay,
testing?
so I have two options.
Mhm.
If I can either do an oral swab,
Mhm.
which means it's a stick with a little soft padded, you know.
The one
the-
that they used to use COVID, like
Yeah, a bit
okay.
like COVID.
Okay, yes.
And what I do is get the service user to have a swipe of their saliva from here to here at the top of the gum.
Yes.
Turn it over.
And do it,
Repeat the process again. I'll put it into a solution within minutes. I get the result. The second way to test is by taking a drop of the blood, putting it onto this little pallet, and then I'll put the solution in the next circle, and within minutes again, one means negative, two lines means positive.
Indeed, and it's
And
easy.
this is all free.
And it's all
and it's
free.
quick and easy.
And then if a person happens to be positive, there is a 8 to 12 weeks
Course of
medication
medication
with
to cure.
free.
So our slogan is test, treat and cure.
Test, treat,
Treat
cure.
and cure.
Perfect. Thank you very much for being
Thank
with
you.
us today. And Abdikaif, thank you for being here as well today. And we learned a lot about Sokoba. In the 3 minutes we have, Sokoba is a vital service for the community. Even though the word SO says Somali, but it's multi-cultural. There are a lot of communities, all the communities in town. So tell us more about your future aspiration, what you want to achieve for the communities.
We actually wanted to have a family home as a center, which Sokoba, that's the legacy, the plan we have in the future, and to be able to pass it on the next generation. So, and we would like people to support us and be on to fulfill this aspiration. And also, I would like to say people, come and benefit the services that we are doing, and particularly
Or volunteer if you have certain skills. If you are
exactly. So, give us your time, and that's how we are managing to do things. And this holy month of Ramadan is the month of being generous, as our Prophet ﷺ said. People has to give it a lot of charities, and I think each person should do what they can do, whether it is a nice word or greeting your neighborhood, saying hello, how are you, knowing the issues they're having, and or giving your time and skill sets,
or your money,
organization, or giving if you have money, whatever is easier, you make that decision. But we know life is getting tougher, and the cost of living is going up, and the poverty is increasing. So particularly in our city, Leicester, it is the worst city. That's the statistics that a child can live, one of the worst cities. So due to the
where it's published,
deprivation, I think NHS and Leicester City, there is some
statistics, okay,
showing that. So I think we have a moral obligations and to support and know our city and our surrounding, because if some of us have wealth and don't actually understand the neighborhoods and the difficulties they're going through, that wealth is not useful.
Very, very wise word and wisdom.
So I think this is the right time, people to think, and because everything you give it out, as our Prophet ﷺ told us, is tripled or doubled. So whether it is, people need to actually be more responsible. Whatever you can give,
more generous,
and give it and support.
And always
that's the way we can sustain better life.
And always think the least people, not always look up what you not have. So look down and giving. It's been very pleasure to have you this program. Really, I do not know how 45 minutes, 50 minutes actually gone by because we were thinking, it might be, but really, this is what I'm talking about. This is the community show, and this is what we do for the community in this hour.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hashim.